And welcome back to Sports Check on this Monday morning. It is the 13th day of February 2023. And stories that we are looking at today, first, celebrating the World Radio Day at the Kenya Broadcasting Corporation. And to all our colleagues who are out there doing radio work, we celebrate you today. And also, President William Ruto is to inspect the Nakuru Bondeni affordable housing project today. What's happening there? Supplementary budget estimates are being presented. Plus, it's also World Condoms Day, so it's quite a whole interesting set of stories that we are going to be looking at today. Our sign language interpreter within IZAR is Lucy Mwaura. Now, let's talk about a sport a team rather, that captured everyone's attention in 2022. In exactly 1 year before that, that team wasn't there, but they shocked everyone. You're in the playoffs of the Kenya Volleyball Federation League. We're talking about Trailblazers. And in studio with me, we've got there, on my immediate left, we've got Stanley Mutua, who's a player with Trailblazers. Yes. Thank you. Welcome to KBC Channel 1. And also we've got Coach Bernard Oselu. Coach, welcome.
Thank you very much.
And Coach, November 2021, Trailblazers is set up by Richard Joseph. What's the story behind, for Joseph to come up with this club and organize a club outside of the normal institutional framework in volleyball?
On that year, our boss, Richard, he had thought of that before when we were playing for Cooperative Bank. Some 2 years behind. And now when the Cooperative Bank did not manage to sponsor our team, then he himself, he came up and said he would like to sponsor a team if Coop will not continue sponsoring the players who are playing for them. Yes.
All right. And then, let's continue with this.
Then from there, when Coop did not manage, he himself talked to the head coach. We have a head coach, I'm the assistant coach. The head coach, they sat together with the head coach and themselves came out and see that the other players which were left out, which were not absorbed in the other clubs, they sat down and called them and talked to them. And the players agreed that they will come and join and play for the Trailblazers. That's how it started. Yes. The rejects, let's say the rejects, who are left, to me, those who are left by the team like Equity, they dropped many players out. They say those players are not helping them, but to us, we show those players, they had potential of making it to become better players. So he brought them together, plus the head coach, and we came up to beep up so that it be a team to see. Okay. Yes.
Stanley.
Yes, sir.
Getting into this team, because we already know that in some of the institutional clubs, they were taking their measures, move away from sport and that. How did you get into become a member of this club?
Yeah, formerly I was playing for Cooperative Bank then. With Coach Bernard, then he was a player, he was a setter there. And unfortunately, the team was disbanded. Then we were left in the estate like we don't have a team to play for. Unfortunately, then Richard was already benchmarking our training with Cooperative Bank when he came. We did some workouts, introduced some scientific approach to the sport, and several players liked it. And then when Coop was disbanded, the system went like everybody's now on his own. But he finally came with an idea of starting his own team. Then in the year 2021-2022 season, I finally went to the annual general meeting with the Kenya Volleyball Federation. He announced the debut of the team, and therefore we found ourselves with Trailblazers volleyball team as our home team now.
Yeah. And when you go there and register this, for you to participate in the league, coach,
yes,
for the KVF to say Karibuni and the new kids on the block, what was that for you?
To me, it was good. Bringing a new team on the league being sponsored by one person, especially to me, it was better. So that even in Kenya, some of our big bosses can also see what the guy is doing. Yeah, getting one person sponsored team is not easy in Kenya. Yes. So
I mean, you are teammates,
yes.
and here you are now as an assistant coach. Getting to assemble, that right set of players, such that when you play your very first game of the season, you know the 6 who are going to be on the court. What was that journey for you?
To me, you see the players, they came many. We had to work out with the head coach. We had to see each player according to the position he plays. Then we had to come with the mind of getting the best from the players who came for the first time, maybe as a trial. Yes.
He's an outside hitter.
Yes.
How you picked it? Tell me how you basically settled and besides the fact that unajuana kutoka Coop Bank.
Yes. An outside hitter like our captain Mutua here. You see, an outside hitter, he has to be a good receiver. He has to receive well so that other departments can work well. See, once you receive the ball well, the setter will do his work well. And himself, now the outside hitter, he will clear it over to the other side very easily. Yes.
Now, when you, when you're now ready to go play in the KVF League 2021-2022.
Yes.
Just give us an idea of how that build-up was for you eventually, because you're going to play against JSU, you're going to play against Prisons, KPA are there, KBF, AP, the Forest Service. That's the kind of competition you are facing.
Yes. Definitely it's a nice opportunity because as a player you have the passion, you have the calling, like you want to get in the pitch and execute your skills. And it's this opportunity whereby you'll meet those teams, especially for GSU and the Prisons. They've been playing the Kenya Volleyball League. They've been going for club championships. And then we experience that challenge, like, why are these guys performing and yet we are almost the same in terms of height, in terms of body complexion, in terms of even education. We feel challenged. So whenever we find these opportunities, we can get up to the task and compete with them so that at least we experience the same they experience whenever they go for championships.
What was it, when eventually you're in the playoffs?
Yes.
What was that for Trailblazers?
It was a nice comeback for the players who felt like they were rejected, and then it brought some confidence in them that they can make it still. And it being the debut season, and they made it to the playoffs, it was a nice call. That actually the decision to have the Trailblazers as a team was a nice decision, and the players felt encouraged, felt like their future is now becoming more brighter than it maybe things were before.
The playoffs, coach.
Yes.
Talk about them from last year. What was the experience for most of your players? Because there's a point at which we used to, for example, when it comes to women's volleyball, we know who is going to be in the playoffs. It's going to be Prisons, it's KCB, Pipeline, and one other.
Yes, probably.
Yeah, on the playoffs tours, okay, we had given the players the morale of going to the playoffs. Like I myself had been to playoffs many times when I was a player. So I know the goodness of being there. Once you be there, it's when you can go for the club championship. Yes, so since we had experience, we had experienced players and inexperienced players. So we used the experienced players to pull up the inexperienced guys. So that morale they were used to give them that power of playing better to be and join the other teams in the playoffs. So it's not easy to be in the playoffs. Many teams, even like GSU, they taken more than 20 years before they started getting into playoffs. Even the Prisons, Kenya, it had not been easy for them to be in the playoffs. When those years when the other teams like Telcom Kenya, we had the KCB, we had a team like we had General Motors. It was not
Posta was another one.
Yes. So getting into playoffs to our players made them know that made them knew that this game they can play well and do something better.
What were the biggest learning lessons you picked out from there, from the playoffs, for the players? What was it that they gave back to you as part of the coaching staff?
To me, according to the way they played, they gave out their best. They played according to the instructions which they were given by the head coach, and they gave out their maximum. They played to the maximum, I can say. And even to us at the bench, we at the management, we were all that. We saw it good as the way they were performing. Yeah, many people did not know we could reach the playoffs, but according to how they were molded by us, they did better. And our aim was to be number one, but we did not manage number one. Normally, it's not easy to come in and be number one, but we managed to get number 3, which to us was a good position. Yes.
Well, finishing third, and now they're on to a new season. Now, I want to talk about something that Stanley mentioned, that the players went there and found scientific training. Now, just tell us what this scientific training is.
There before when our volleyball season used to start at around February or March to November, there was a time whereby they used to call it loading season, whereby they do a lot of hectic training to build up the muscles for the endurance of the whole season. Now we changed the system to start at around November to end at May, whereby now the endurance is a bit, it's a bit, you need to be more,
you need to be fit,
a bit compressed, yes. So the approach to the training was a bit changed by our boss, and we experienced some new styles, whereby players would do workouts in terms of balancing their vertical jump, their lateral movement, and also more so on emphasis of injury prevention to lengthen the duration within which a player can execute a game. So the approach was a bit different, and most of us liked it because we saw it's a different approach. There before, people could go to maybe to a hill, they climbed, they go to stairs, they lift a lot of weight and conditionally unbalanced. They find themselves imbalanced, and most of them, they find themselves with injuries. They cause their own injuries. But this approach is a bit nice. Actually, you will realize that in Trailblazers, we've recorded no injury for the 2 seasons. So it's a good approach, and players have liked it, and it is working.
What was the first thing that you realized for you as a player when you went through this strength and conditioning regime, and also so that you've got, you know, the flexibility coach?
Actually, what I can comment is that because in volleyball, most of the players, they join volleyball based on talent and others based on passion. So you find there's an equal opportunity for them both. If you are directed by passion, you can still go through the workouts and you attain maximum success. If you have the talent, you can also fine-tune it by the strength and conditioning, and you'll you will attain a maximum output in terms of whatever you're going to execute in the pitch. Yes.
So just to put the question again,
yes.
What was, for example, as a hitter, you've got to do a lot of jumping and that. What were some of the things you realized are changing with this method from a personal experience?
From a personal experience, I can say that the change has been of benefit to me because the approach itself saves a lot of energy. There before, you could fly from one position to another like you don't know how to execute that jump. Most of the times you find players have injuries on knees, on ankles, because they don't know how to jump, when to jump, and why to jump. So actually,
okay.
It was an eye-opening to us.
Just a question.
Yes.
Coach,
Yes.
can you just respond to that? When to jump, how to jump, why to jump? If I see you naturally, volleyball, I mean, we are seeing the pictures. Somebody comes and you've got to block.
Now, whatever he's talking of, you see, when you are given all the styles, like if you jump, how you land, it matters. There's a style of landing. Just land with the flat foot, no. Yeah. So
no, that one you'll definitely.
Yeah. So we have strength and conditioning coaches. They are there to do that work for the players. So, and they've done a lot to the players. Yeah. Yes.
All right. So let's come to those 3 W's.
Yes.
When to jump, how to jump,
yes.
Why to jump.
Why to jump.
Give us those 3 scenarios now.
Actually, volleyball, because it's a flying ball,
Yes.
it has a lot of timings. You need to do a lot of timing depending on whatever the opposition is doing to do. That is when the opponent is attacking a ball, there's a need to block. So that is when you do a lot of timing in terms of how you are going to jump, when you are going to jump, so that you execute your block very well. And also in the backward covering, there's a lot of lateral movements. So it's a scientific measure for players to understand how to move, when to move, so that at least you play better, you play for long, you don't collide with others, you don't give yourself an injury. So it's a nice one for people to understand all those skills all together. Yes, because it's an action that is done within 1 second or 3 seconds fraction. A rally from service to reception to set to attack is like 3 seconds. So a player must be very alert on those things to execute them well, because you can train yourself in terms of trying to articulate a certain skill, then the muscle is not ready or the muscle is not trained, then you end up finding yourself in an injury.
Well, Coach,
Yes.
Also, something that's been spoken a lot. Anytime we've had Coach Paul Bitok here, he speaks about, because he's alluded to it, the growing pace of volleyball that we've seen in the world. What is it that you're doing to ensure that Stanley and team, keep up with the modern trends? If they're to be called up for national team duty, then it's not the usual, not like we say that we know they're picking from this team and this team. You could also have an opportunity.
Okay, to me first, the atmosphere where the training is being done first. When the training is being done outside and the game will be played inside, there is that difference. So like to us, our training is done inside. This is an indoor game.
Yes.
So we don't want to train outside and the game will be played inside in a gym. So for our players to do better and get used to the indoor, the training facilities must be to the standard, so that we change everything the way it has been before. Yes.
Playing, and just tell us, give us a picture of, your entire, the kind of facility that you picked up, because we've seen the Kenya Volleyball Federation is actually now encouraging that the league matches are played indoor. We've seen Nyayo over this past weekend. And Mombasa is another place where they use a KP Hall at Makande.
Yes, I think that's good. Now at least the standard will be high. If we start training and playing all our games inside the gym, the standard will go high now. But if you check, like Nyayo and Makande, those are substandard gyms.
Kasarani
is a better gym.
Is a standard gym.
Yes. And likely for the men's team, I do request the KVF, if they can, mostly to take men's games to Kasarani, not Nyayo. Yes.
Actually, I know they are watching and they will be very interested in doing that.
Yes.
Now, for you, let's talk about this season. The first leg and the second leg. AP waliwapata.
What I can say is it was a bad day in office, first of all, and we realized that every other team outside there is coming to beat Trailblazers. You see, since the introduction of Trailblazers, we've changed a lot of things in the social media. We've done a lot of shout out to the social media. We brought a different approach within which teams should be treated. And therefore, there's some negativity in terms of how other teams are feeling challenged. We have already challenged them to an aspect that they cannot outsmart us now. The only thing that they can take an advantage of is whereby, like for example, when we are training indoor and we go to play a match outdoor, they take that advantage of our change of climate. So they deteriorate our arrangement. But the big idea is that Trailblazers is formed like to play on international standards. Yes, maybe one or two things might fail in national standards because of the environment. But in terms of international standards, this team has been already set because the challenge is far much bigger ahead. And those matches which we might find ourselves going to play outside are going to be played indoor in a gym like Kasarani. So the environment will be suitable for such players. This time around we went to Nyayo, then we found ourselves playing on sun, and it's an outdoor. It's an outdoor
the handball
pitch.
court outside there.
Yeah, exactly. And the balls that we were using, in fact, was an outdoor balls. So that change versus how we introduced some new players, because Trailblazers, we do transition. We have new guys joining us, and we need to expose them early enough so that by the end of the season, they are good to go. Such that even if maybe 2 or 3 players who are experienced might decide to retire, we still have a backbone of the team. So we build. For those guys who played against, that is AP and KDF at GSU, they are more experienced. They have been in the league for like 5 years altogether. They live together, they work together, they train together. Occasionally, their rhythm is working. Their bond is more better than that one for Trailblazers. But we are coming back again. We are coming back again.
Coach,
Yes.
to add on to what Stanley is talking about, bringing in these young players so that they get the right experience and they know that if you really want to play in the top league, then don't choose your opponent. Your opponents are already chosen for you.
Yes.
How do you introduce these youngsters into the system?
Okay. To us, like this time, people have seen maybe we've not won our matches, but if you compare last season, we had many experienced players also, and most of them left us. Like we have five guys left, experienced guys. Now, our main work is to fill the position they left, and to fill is to bring up the young guys to fit inside their shoes. And according to us, these young guys, most of them are from school last year but one. So we are hardening them so that they be more as the other guys were. And to us, maybe this season, next season when they come back, they will be fire, those guys. Yes.
And this is what I'd like to bring in. And this is from, 100% from the coaching perspective.
Yes.
And the brand of volleyball that we would want to see associated with Kenya.
Yes.
What is it that you find from these youngsters, coming in from different schools? I know primarily you'll go to look for where are the national champions in Yohawa Tuchukwe. How do you then try and bring them in so that they can see the kind of game that you want to play vis-a-vis probably what they've done all their high school life?
Okay, see, in Kenya, maybe, let's say in Kenya, on the volleyball part of it, there is that challenge of getting a young player from school and joining a club. We don't have, let's say, we don't have group stages for the players. Maybe from youth, then they move to a different age, that way up to...
Or a youth, junior, senior.
Yes, senior. We don't have.
Age grade.
So you get a player from school. Maybe there he was only informed or he was only coached maybe to attack the ball. But the other part of volleyball, he doesn't know. So normally it becomes so hard for the coach to do a lot so that player catches up with the experienced guys in the club.
So how do you do your scouting now such that you get somebody who's got maybe most of the aspects that you'd want in your club? When you've got the school games, how do you keep observing this one?
Normally it's done during the national championship for the school games. That's when maybe we go around and see better players, or at least you see a guy or you see a boy with a good height, and maybe you see some potential in him. Just looking and seeing the way he's playing the pitch. Yes. Maybe when he joins, maybe you can do 1, 2, 3 to him, then he may catch up within the same season. Yes.
So ideally, If you were to give a message to somebody who's coaching at high school,
Yes.
what are the things that when this player leaves high school and wants to join Trailblazers, they should know when it comes to the pure basics of volleyball?
Maybe just to advise them that volleyball is not a matter of hitting the ball only. There are many things. There's the reception. You have to receive first. That's the main. Attack, anybody can attack the ball. You can move somebody from there and tell him, hit the ball. He will hit it over the net. But the main basic is to know how to receive the ball first. Yes, which is not done to the younger players in schools. Yes.
Okay. Now, something I saw yesterday, I witnessed yesterday, the number of people coming in Mutua.
Yes, sir.
Because you mentioned you're out there on social media and doing these things. What's this you're trying to create a niche for yourselves as a club? Because I mean, the pictures I saw from Nyayo, I have to admit, it's what we want to see. And I'm sure even you were very happy. Although najua AP wanapeleka lori mzima, yes, you.
Yeah, it happens.
They just go there to support their teams.
To support their team.
But what's this communication you're putting out there so that people know about the club and they could become the eyes in the stands?
Yeah, actually we are sending us a signal to the social media that there's something called social media marketing. And now that Trailblazers doesn't have a fan base like AP or any other team, like you can come with your colleagues to come and back you up. We are trying to change this approach whereby in Kenya, volleyball can be supported by the fans, and also we're creating avenues for marketing, such that whenever we stream games live, whenever we appear, there are so many avenues for people who want to do marketing within the event. So this shout out to the media is a positive thing, and it has gained us more fans than even any other team. I realized in Nyayo when we were playing, more fans were expecting some good results, and they were supporting us. And in fact, even now as we speak, more are promising to visit our training areas, to come and benchmark with us, see what is it that we are doing which looks so different to other teams. Yes.
And now, that word, I only know it with the MCAs and MPs, benchmarking. For you to set now what he keeps talking about, the scientific and all of this, head coach George definitely has got to do something, and Richard also has got to put his impact.
Yes.
What are the things that you ensuring that this is the bare minimum that must be done at Trailblazers at any one point?
Now, what should be done first is discipline. Our team is disciplined. That's why you find even the social media now, things are going on well on our side. And on the pitch also, as we train, the kind of training we give out, many supporters of us do come and watch our training. And the kind of steps the training goes within the 3 hours, many do like the way it goes. Even many coaches sometimes do come and see how the coaching is being done from the word go to the end of it, the program itself. Yes.
Auogopi mtu akuja ibe siri yako? Because I know there are times when training is actually properly closed door.
No. Before, let's say if you go like for the playoffs now, normally it's a closed door. But for the normal training, one may come and they want just to see what's being done more better than whatever they're doing on their side. Yes.
Now, the other one that I would like to now bring out is working with the community. Because you train at a place and some sense of ownership has to come eventually. How are you working with that? For example, I'll give an example of football.
Yes.
Sadly enough, our top tier league, you will have Sofapaka and Tusker playing.
Yes.
100 people. But if I go and do an Ataka Kuwa Mheshimiwa Cup or a tournament out in the village, that's it. People will be, the entire village will come and watch that game. And there are no stands, it's just standing all around. How do you then endure yourself to, the community around where you train? Coach.
Okay, where we train, okay, we do allow the community to come in and see when we train. It's not a closed area for people not to move in. It's supporters are allowed to come in and see what we are doing. And even again, the social media we are in, it has done a lot to us. So many people have come to know this team, how it's doing, how the team is doing, and what we are doing through the social media.
Kuvutia mtaa.
Yeah, kuvutia mtaa.
Tell us how you do.
Kuvutia mtaa, actually, football has been far much ahead in Kenya because so many guys like football. It has been in the news all over. And now we are trying to change the perspective to bring volleyball also to balance. Therefore, through social media, through Twitter, through Instagram, we normally shout out there for people to gain interest in this sport. And actually, I can say, so far so good. We have transformed so many guys to, they find themselves in interest of volleyball. Now, back to the society, we normally go to inter-estate tournaments whereby we try to share some information to the guys playing out there of how important it is to support this game. And we are winning the society right away. And whenever we train, we normally invite each and every other person to visit. Yes, we invite them to come and see whatever we are doing so that at least they can feel that heat. Because the message, we are not going to close the message also for only Trailblazers only, but also to the other public, so that maybe we can tap 2 or 3 people in the society and get helped by their career. Yes.
Coach.
Yes.
5 players replaced. You mentioned that. Just give us a profile of this squad and the replacements that you put out there.
Okay, like last season, we had Moses, he went to Qatar. We had our captain, James, who was one of the best libero we had. Now he's held up with job. He normally does not make it to the training. We had one player who was picked up by the GSU. That's Chelule. He even played against us. We also have another one who went to Forest Rangers. That is called Tall. The other player went to Qatar. He's called Derek. He's back, but he did not play for us because he has not trained well. But the other young players who are there before, who are not playing when these guys were there, they have at least shown us something good in them because they've catched up nearly to the same level where these guys were. And we're hoping so that in the near future, they will be at par with the other experienced players.
So the new players that you...
we have the new players. We have Kiberenge, that's just from the direct from school. We have Obadia. We have Eugene. Again, we have Desomanya. He was with us last time, but he didn't play more because he was still young. But now he's a little bit more experienced. Yes. And we're hoping so that all of them, maybe come the end of this season, all of them will be at a good stage to make it more better.
From the matches played over the weekend, Stanley.
Yes.
Just take us through each game bit by bit. Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. You know, and how each one of them, how you analyze each of those teams from the playoffs.
Friday we met AP Kenya, and it was a nice opportunity for us at least to experience a league match with the new family. And what I can say is that the juniors whom found themselves in the lineups, they experienced a very nice thing. The outcome was good because whatever we expected them to go and perform, they even outsmart the expectations. They played a very nice match compared to how we expected them, and also put into consideration the environment. The environment was not so favorable. It was so sunny. It was outside, and there was a lot of fan base whereby they've never experienced playing in a court whereby fans are all over. So that hit.
Noise is not a part of... It's not something that they're actually used to.
Yes, something that they have never experienced, and that noise actually hardened them to a certain extent. Yes.
You were considered, you know, going into the game, everyone thought, okay, Trailblazers in Wahome, utamaliza AP. But AP had the final say. What do you pick out, coach, from the AP side that you played?
The AP guys, they came knowing that Trailblazers is a good team to them, better than them. But being the game was being played outside, ours we train inside. And the sun was too hot. We played at 1. The weather to us was not conducive. But to them, since they train outside, the weather was normal to them. It's normal. So I think that's what brought the problem to us. And again, the kind of ball being used outside is not the one we normally use while training inside the gym. So there's that difference in the weight of the ball being used inside and outside.
Okay, yeah, indoor, outdoor. Just explain that about the equipment, because people, because there is, at times people say mpira ni mpira too.
No. The weight of the ball being used inside and the ball being used outside is totally different. Yeah. The one inside is lighter, the other one used outside is a little bit heavier. Yes, that's the difference.
So here you are playing with the heavier outdoor ball.
Yeah.
How does it, feel on impact? When you're doing the receiving or...
It's a bit different because when you are receiving, maybe you might never balance. You might never know the balance within which you are going to apply the force of reception or maybe the force of setting to make it to the target. And what I can say in terms of comparison between indoor and outdoor is that the only thing that remains standard is the height of the net. Every other aspect remains different. The size of the ball, the weight of the ball, the environment, the movement of the wind, the placement of the sun. So it is a totally different environment. But all in all, what we can say that volleyball is volleyball. Whether inside or outside, volleyball is volleyball. And the AP came up as they fought their best. In fact, they did something that maybe so many fans did not expect. But our team expected some force because we came to realize that every other team outside there is coming to just to beat these mighty Trailblazers.
Stanley. Okay, Saturday.
Saturday we met GSU, and GSU is a good team. What I can say is that GSU have been in the club championship for the last 7 years or maybe more. They have been gelling together, and they have an advantage because GSU is giving people jobs. Most of the times they give people jobs yearly. They give an annual recruitment plan, whereby they pick the best. For other teams, they might find themselves like being academies. You build, and once that player is so much good, then GSU comes with a letter of employment, and then they outsmart you. So they normally pick the best. We build from scratch. There's a difference.
So playing against them, arguably the top side in the volleyball side in the country, you could tell us about that.
Yes, we played against them. There was some resistance. In fact, even them, if they can be asked something, maybe they will say it was not a walk in the park. There was some resistance from the young boys, and it was a signal that was promising that in the near future, or maybe in 2-3 months to come, maybe GSU will be fighting to find a set from Trailblazers.
What do you mean? I like your confidence, by the way.
Yes.
Coach,
yes.
Are you doing this? How do you manage this kind of situations? Because you already, once you set the bar at a certain level, say if you're doing high jump and you start jumping over 2 meters, then when you can't clear 2 meters, then people start questioning the credentials you had to get to 2 meters.
You see, normally setting the pace is good, but how to maintain it becomes a problem. See, like us, we have done it, but after having done it, 4 or 5 players are not yet there again. So four players are out. So we are again starting from down, coming up. Not like the GSU guys. They are picking the best from you and they're putting on their side. So there's nobody.
Same with KDF, same with Prisons.
Yes. So us, we are training, we make more training these guys, then they come and pick the best from us. Yes, that's the difference.
Looking at it, the setup that is there, everyone says sport should give you an opportunity to earn.
Yes, sport should give you an opportunity to earn. And that is why in Kenya currently as we speak, so many guys who find themselves in volleyball, they play their best, at least to find an avenue for employment. Some of the times you find once they are employed, they are like, finally nimefika. But now, I would like to shout out to them that introduction of Trailblazers is now changing the aspect. Players need to play for that career. We need to make that volleyball as a career, such that we can also bring that economic balance whereby if you didn't make it good in high school, or maybe you don't make it good in your studies, you can also find another avenue of you earning and earning a life. So in volleyball, it's a bit different. We are trying to transit from players playing for jobs or players playing for something else. Other players should be playing for career, whereby you need to build, you play that volleyball, and that volleyball should be your future. So most of them, once you find them going to maybe KDF, going to GSU, going to maybe AP Kenyas, whereby someone is at risk. You are at, let's say 25. You don't have a job. GSU is employing. You're still pushing this career. And now the sponsorship of volleyball, which is now we having in Kenya currently, is not favoring the boy child more. We find that teams from the ladies department, whereby contracts, they sign contracts which are better. If you give a player 250,000 per month, that player will give it all in the volleyball court. Will never want to maybe go to other avenues of side hustling. So for men, once you realize that a player is not earning as much as that which can sustain him in the society, then you will always be broad and you will think of maybe going to find some job somewhere so that at least you can sustain your family or maybe your parents back at home. Yes.
Coach, retaining players, because this is now where, as part of the leadership team, for example, if he's given an opportunity to go play for KPA, if KPA come calling and say, we want him, how then do you ask a player, convince a player to stay?
Okay, to our work is to coach. Now, to convince, the work now comes to our boss. Yes. That is now, maybe if a contract is given, that one will make a player now be retained in the team. Yeah. So when contracts are there, the players will judge whatever they're being given on that side also and see. That's how it comes out.
I know, folk. I'll be fair to Kenyan clubs in any sport. If you get an offer from Tunisia or Qatar or Japan, you will not leave it because the pay is way above what you'd get here. It doesn't matter which club it is. The pay is way above. So the question then is, coach, you're with these people every day. How do you keep that conversation such that you can say, I don't want to lose Eugene, I don't want to lose Stanley, I don't want to lose anybody.
But you see, if you train a player, he goes there while he has gone to his peak, he has gone to his standard, the best standard he is. Then when he goes and maybe get employment, to me, that is not all that bad. We play, this player, if he plays, he plays and maybe get employed, it will be better. You will not even play for longer. Yes. We'll play for a duration. Even me, I was a player. Yes. After having played for all those years, I left playing. I'm now a coach. But still, I need to see how my family also can also go through. Yes.
Yeah, even on the same note, even what I can mention is that we also concerned about the future of the individual as a person.
Yeah.
We don't just need to use that player to win titles. Then what? When that player is exhausted, he might go back to the village and might find himself useless to the society. So whenever we have a player today, that player is a nice person in terms of whatever he's executing in the pitch.
Yes.
We are proud when those avenues are open for that success. That success is our success. Because we cannot say he's part of us. His problem is also our problem. Yes, so his success is also our success. So we find it better, even if we lose matches, because we lose every player every day, it's all right, in as much as we are losing those players to better avenues.
Better areas.
Yes.
Like for now, we have Moses in Qatar. That's good. He's gaining more
more experience,
yeah,
able to
more
sustain his
experience,
family.
more money.
That is yes.
So that's
I would
good,
fully
that's
understand.
good. Yeah.
I mean, I can't put it on any sporting club in Kenya.
Yes.
If you, I don't know of a club that can pay 500,000 shillings.
Yes, yeah.
Currently, no.
It's difficult.
Yes.
So, final word from you, Stanley.
Final word that I can send to the social media is that Trailblazers has brought a different approach, which need to be encouraged so much. And if financially we get a boost from maybe a potential sponsor, then you can see whatever avenues you are going to create to the society, we're going to change the lives of so many individuals, we're going to change the careers of so many individuals, and we are going to find people being encouraged in the same sport more than before. All right.
Coach, final word.
Maybe to me, this club, we want it to be a professional club. And for it to be, many sponsors, they have to come in, they have to chip in, so that we raise the standard of the players of every department in the club. Yes, that's the only I can say.
Thank you very much. Bernard Oselu, he is assistant coach of Trailblazers Volleyball Club. And we've got Stanley Mutua, who plays for the club, talking about their experiences with the club and, you know, the kind of waves they made last year, just after being formed in 2021. Thank you very much, gentlemen, for being with us.
Thank you.
All right. Now, time for me to leave with this. Our sign language interpreter has been Lucy Mora. Coming up next is Kurunzi Mashinani with Zainab Said, followed by Tam Rini. My name is Daniel Wahome. Have a good day.